Hi all. So, the North London derby is off. I have to say, I am absolutely fuming about it, to be honest with you. I am so gutted at the same time because this would have been the first North London derby at the new stadium with actual fans in the stadium. So, I was expecting a really good atmosphere, and hopefully a really good game with obviously a Spurs wins one, hoping for. But to have it taken away from us as fans so short notice is really, really annoying. Again, fans are kind of left reeling from, this decision, and people have paid out money, organised stuff, taken days off work, flown from other countries, making something of it because it is such an event, not just for Tottenham fans but for Arsenal fans as well. Because I'm pretty sure there'll be Arsenal fans that are pretty peeved about it as well. But this is just so avoidable because it just feels absolutely unnecessary. We're talking about a football club that has one COVID case, one. And even if you said, well, maybe there's two or whatever, it's no different from anybody else, right? I work for a company. If people are off sick, you have to carry on with the people you've got. You get replacements. You draft people in. You do something about it. The reality is, Arsenal have put themselves in this position. They've put themselves in this position by loaning out players, letting players go off to the African Cup of Nations and all that kind of stuff. So they've manipulated the rules to suit their own ends. They've got a depleted squad as far as they're concerned. It's going to be a difficult game. And so they don't want this game ahead of the second leg of a League Cup cup semi-final. So I will be absolutely shocked if the same players that are available tomorrow are not in the squad for the game against Liverpool. From my point of view, at least when Liverpool had their game against Arsenal called off, they at least made out it was COVID related, with the false positives that Mr. Clibbity Klopp had to put forward. I mean, this is just blatant bending the rules to suit yourself, and it's absolutely ridiculous. And as fans, I mean, from a South Dorset Spurs point of view, 3 minibuses organised to go up there. So the guy who runs the minibuses is now however much out of pocket because that's work that he was planning to do, to feed his family, look after his kids and so on. Well, he's going to lose out now. And I saw that Kernow Spurs from down in Cornwall, they may have to pay for their bus, £1,500 down the Swanee because it's been called off at such short notice for no real apparent reason. I mean, it just makes the Premier League look ridiculous. How many other clubs have been through this or having to go through this that haven't had the same leeway that Arsenal have been given in this situation? And for me, this isn't about it being Arsenal, if I'm being honest with you. This is any club that we were playing. For these rules, it's just a nonsense. Ourselves have been kicked out of a European competition, albeit a third-tier competition, because we were unable to fulfil our obligation with players. So what happens now? What happens if somebody else, some other team, suffers in the next rounds and stuff? Are they going to get kicked out? It can't be one rule for one and one rule for the other. You've got to have some consistency here. And this is just not consistent. It is just not right for it to continue. The reality is Arsenal are playing the game. They're doing what they need to do because they obviously want to progress in the League Cup. It's finally balanced. They need to put a decent team out against Liverpool, and so they want to rest their players and give them a good time to get other players fit. Bearing in mind, the only player who's now not available for the game tomorrow is Granit Xhaka, who was sent off. Well, it's not much of a punishment for getting sent off if you get to cancel the next game that you would have lost, you would have missed. Just doesn't sit well as well. And I have to say, I'm not buying it, Daniel Levy, putting out a statement saying how disappointed you are and, you know, how unfair it is and all the rest of it, just to you know, to get a little bit of favour with the fans. I'm not buying it from you, mate. You know, at the end of the day, you're just jumping on the bandwagon as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I agree with everything you've said in there, but I don't think it's coming from the right place. It's coming from a place of trying to appease fans and make yourself feel better and get yourself on the pedestal. Well, it's not going to happen, mate. Your time is running out if you don't start sorting this player situation out. I can see there being real problems, especially if Conte leaves, being the best manager that we've had since Pochettino for sure, and possibly before Pochettino, because at least with Conte he was and is someone who has a pedigree of winning competitions. So anyway, that's me digressing onto something else because I'm rambling, but absolutely gutted, disappointed, not going to be able to meet up with my mates tomorrow and go and see, you know, arguably the game of the season, the one that we all want to be at, you know. Don't ever get an opportunity to go to the North London derby at the empty crates because of loyalty points and all that malarkey. So this was the one for me. And what's really rolling me up about it, what I'm really worried about now is when they rearrange this game, when's it going to be rearranged for? Is it going to be a midweek game? I live in Dorset. To go to a midweek game, I have to have 2 days off. Otherwise, I can't get there. You know, so it's 2 days leave that I'm going to have to give up in the middle of a week to be able to go to a football game when I was perfectly prepared to go at this weekend. So I hope they think about that. I hope they think about the fans, which I know they won't, but I hope they think about the fans and the impact that this has on us in terms of our planning and our payments and what we have to do. Can't change it now. The game's off. Disappointed. We move on to the next one. Up the Spurs.